right.
Active. We are active.
Episode 13?
Totally Offside podcast, episode 13. Unlucky?
13? Maybe, I don't know. Unlucky for some preseason teams, that's for sure.
Yeah, my Jays are already in the playoffs, so I'm not too worried about
so
luck
we're not worried about that. That's fine.
I'm taking a couple days off before I have massive sports-related heart attacks.
Yep, Mariners, right? First round.
Yeah, Luis Castillo's game one against Alek Manoah. I don't know. I think we're gonna hurt Mariners' feelings. Mariners fans' feelings. I hope that I'm not eating my words in about a week. But
how do you feel about the Astros after the Mariners?
I have felt that the Astros have been overrated all year, and I know that sounds ridiculous because they're a 100-win team and they're the Astros in the World Series all the time and play blah, 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 blah. I don't care. There's not enough, I'll say there's enough depth, but there's not enough, proven star talent there yet. And I'm not saying that the Jays have that over them, but I think that the Jays, they have enough experience in the majors, in minor playoff history, whatever, to have, I think the hunger you need, whereas the Astros just have a winning culture, which you can argue which is more important.
That's true, yeah.
I think, the Jays this year have had a down year after Vladdy was prepping everybody for the movie, and they kind of had to eat their words, and they have been, the hottest team in baseball in September, individually and team-wise. I feel like they're scorchingly hot at the right time. There's magic here. I think that they have a pretty good chance. I think no matter what, it's going to be a great series. And I would absolutely love to get past the Astros. That would be miraculous, I think. After that, I feel like there's nobody that can stop us.
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean, the World Series is the World Series and whatever, but I just feel like after you beat the Astros, you've got to be past cloud nine. You got to feel like you're on your A++ game. You just have to come out of that feeling it with a win, regardless of it's 4 or 5, whatever, how many games, I think you feel electric. So I'm thinking about not coming to school Friday. I got to watch Wild Card Game 1. And starts the month of school taking a deep dive. Nathan, taking up enough time with this crap. Yeah, tell me about basketball. I want to hear about one of my all-time favorite players absolutely dominating. I want to hear about Japanese game. I want to hear about everything.
Firstly, no expansion teams were announced. I'm a little disappointed.
What?
No expansion teams got announced. There was a game in Las Vegas. There were 2 games in Las Vegas, 2 games in Seattle.
So we were just horseshitting last week?
Expansion teams did not get announced in either of them. And now I'm sad. But those are probably where the expansion teams are going to go. There probably will be expansion teams. That's probably where they are going to go because you're not going to bring basketball to Seattle and Las Vegas without eventually bringing a team.
You're not just going to tease like that.
Yeah, no.
But I'm confused because then we just, that was speculation.
So they were set to announce it, but they didn't end up announcing it.
They just chose not to.
They just decided no.
Adam Silver just get really drunk the night before or something. Couldn't make it.
No idea.
You know what? Okay.
So no expansion teams as of right now. They are coming though. We are getting expansion teams. They just haven't been announced. And everyone knows it's Seattle and Las Vegas because of the trend of every other sport, where every other sport is doing Seattle and Las Vegas. So
yeah.
But anyway, on to the actual games. The Warriors beat the Wizards in Japan, 96-87. Although Rui Hachimura and Kristaps Porzingis actually looked really, really good that game. Rui was hitting pretty solid mid-range jumpers. His Euro step was kind of sketchy, but it was going in, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Do you
But,
think this is like hometown advantage kind of feeling?
I think this is hometown advantage kind of Rui. I don't know if this is reliable from him from like during the regular season,
But this was kind of the hopes for him initially, wasn't it? Like this was the kind of
this was
player he
kind
could
of the
be.
expectation of what he was going to be coming into the league.
I mean, it's awesome that you got to see that in his home nation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Someone who wasn't close to his hometown though was Kristaps Porzingis, and he looked like Knicks Kristaps. Like he looked like what he was supposed to be.
Right.
And he's looking good, and he looked like that in the second game too. So honestly, if Washington can keep it up like this with Bradley Beal there too, you're probably looking at like a solid 7 to 10 seed in the East.
I know Kristaps
bad.
I know Kristaps had his legal issues and whatnot, and he's not maybe the most excellent human being of all time, but I enjoy him as a basketball player. And when he's good, he was the
first guy to coin the unicorn.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
Like, even though Kevin Durant is a unicorn, like Kristaps was the first unicorn. If that
Kristaps was like Wembanyama before Wembanyama.
Yeah, literally, he's the Chet Holmgren, but prior to Chet Holmgren. And then on the flip side of that, Golden State is absolutely disgusting. Their team is nuts.
James Wiseman is like he feels like a cheat code. It's so
James
crazy.
Wiseman put up a 20 point. I think I got the numbers flipped around. I'm pretty sure it was a 20 point, 9 rebound, 1 assist stat line, and just controlled the paint the whole game, dude.
He's so dominant.
It was filthy. Pat Baldwin also went off. He was I want to say like the 28th or 29th pick of the first round.
7 points in 8 minutes.
Put up 7 points in 8 minutes.
Fair enough.
Like that's
better
pretty
than
impressive,
I can do.
To be honest. Yeah, I know. And then Kuminga, even though it was only 3 assists that he led with, he led the Warriors in the assists, and he put up. They were nice passes. They were. I
believe that they're very nice, but it makes me uncomfortable that he led the team with 3 assists. Is that just because they have so many guys who just pull the ball past half court and fire?
Pretty much. It was like Jordan Poole would just pull up from half court, just drain them, or they would kick it down to James Wiseman, who'd like take his time down low.
Okay, fair enough.
So the assist time, the kind of like assist like timer.
That makes sense. All right, I'll accept that. I mean, they're Golden State. You're not worried about their assist numbers, but
I watched a decent chunk of the game, and like Kuminga was making good passes to buckets that weren't going in.
That's really sad. I mean,
but
I think he is a great playmaker, right? Like that is one of the parts of his game.
His main thing was supposed to just be like dominant athleticism, just like Blake Griffin style.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fact that he's adding passing to his repertoire too.
I'm weird on these rookies because I'm so far into like 2K simulation that like they've developed into something else.
Yeah.
So,
they developed into something they aren't.
Being a great playmaker. I don't know. I gotta figure out my real life stats.
Yeah. He wasn't really supposed to be like an amazing playmaker, but he's been impressing me so far.
I mean, on that team, you have a chance to really develop your passing, especially you're not going to be a scorer, right? So, I mean,
yeah. But this is telling me Golden State has like they've completed their rebuild already. Basically, like they're not even in the rebuild, and they have completed the rebuild. Like James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, probably
like
Patrick Baldwin, Jordan Poole. The dynasty is going to continue. Golden State's going to be a good team for like the next decade.
I'm excited for this new look Warriors team, though. The
thing is they're going to be a different
cool,
team.
Sure, but that's the thing. Yeah, it's going to be a different team. Like you're not going to be watching just the Splash Brother fucking, middle tens dynasty Warriors.
Yeah,
that's going to be
like
fun.
James Wiseman he's giving me like Kevin Garnett vibes.
Oh my God, what a fun thing to say.
Which is interesting. I'm very excited for it. I think like people were ripping on him because he got injured in his rookie season and blah 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 blah. And they're like, "Oh,
Whatever.
James Wiseman's a bust," and like he hasn't really played in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could really call him a bust. Like this,
Well,
I know it's
yeah, that's
preseason,
right.
right? It's like take it with a grain of salt. It's preseason, but this is a good stat line.
This is an
Like
incredible stat
if you
line.
put this up in the regular season, people will be like, "Oh, James Wiseman is like an actual threat."
Yeah. I would love to see him just go this year and do this for a full season.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
be
I
like a
would love
20 and 10 guy all year long.
He would win MIPS so quickly.
Easily.
Like I would
So
see no other
easily.
MIP candidate anywhere.
No, nobody could contend with that.
No, speaking of not contending, the Clippers beat Maccabi Ranana by 40 points.
What a name. I can't get over the fact that that exists.
I don't really have any notes on it because like it was expected.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
It was-
121 to. I'm surprised they scored 81 points.
Yeah, 121 to 81. Honestly, I'm surprised that they managed to get 81. And Kawhi didn't play that game, neither did Paul George.
That's hilarious. Holy shit.
Yeah, could you imagine if they put
If
Kawhi
they
and Paul
did,
George
it's
in?
like it's a 175 point game.
Yeah. Also, and like we're gonna get to this later, but Kawhi looks good.
Yeah,
Like Kawhi is big.
like full blown Kahi shit.
Like Kahi Leonard is jacked, bro.
My friends used to get so mad. We played blacktop. I'd always pick Kawhi, and I'd just fly in with vicious dunks, screaming Kahi the whole game. They hated it.
He's looking big, and it's kind of scary because Kawhi was already a strong guy.
I don't know. I'd like to see him get paid like $40 million a year for the next 5 or 6 years. Let him be dominant.
Yeah, I want to see I just want to see more Kawhi, man. I want to see the Clippers do good because I felt like the Clippers having Paul George and Kawhi was so exciting, and we just haven't gotten to see it really.
The NBA is more fun when the Clippers are good. When the Clippers and Lakers can have that kind of city
That little
rivalry going, like
right
that,
now they're just both bad.
yeah, that's the thing. But when they can be like that, those top teams fighting it, like that's really fun. And Clippers have just been bad for so long now. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just like not really competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to see them actually go out and have a good season, make a deep run in the playoffs. I don't know. Could they win a championship if everything goes right?
The Clippers, oh yeah, they're contenders. The second Kawhi and Paul George are healthy, they're contenders.
Fair enough.
Just immediately. Because then you kind of get glimpses of like what the Raptors had.
That's true. Yeah.
So they immediately become contenders because Kawhi is, when he's healthy, he's probably honestly one of the best players in the league, like top 3.
How much longer does Paul George have before he's like just kind of a big contract?
Before he regresses, I'd say like probably 2 years, 2-3 years. So he's still got a little
What do
bit
you
in him.
think? Is there like a next step that would need to be taken in that window for this Clippers team to really start meaning something like year to year?
They need to develop their rookies. They need to not rely on their stars as much and start developing their rookies. Because like BJ Boston has the potential to like be a 20-point per game scorer.
But he's not going to do it just the second you put him out there once these guys are gone.
No, not at all. But like if they started developing him now, like sure you're taking a hit in terms of your regular season games, but then you just like in the postseason you switch
an
up
investment. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
of a prospect.
exactly. It's an investment. You're taking a few hits in your win-loss. You're still probably making the playoffs, and then BJ Boston
in a better
is good.
shape for the post-playoff mentality, like
exactly.
Because that's what it is. Like I think it's a very old world sports mentality to. I don't know if any front office thinks this way, but to think like, okay, we got our championship now.
Let's just run
rebuild.
that out. Like,
yeah. It's just let's do this, and then in 5 years when it doesn't work anymore, we'll just tear it all down. It's like, no, you win, and then you continue to win. You make efforts to stay competitive,
And then
to develop,
here comes teams
to
like the Warriors.
yeah, like that's how you become a team that people remember. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal now.
Yeah, 100%.
Nobody builds for this year and next year. Everybody builds for okay, the next 5 years. That's what you're supposed to do.
Next game, Grizzlies Bucks. The Grizzlies rookies
Great game.
are impressive. Again, it's preseason. Take it with a grain of salt. But they're looking nice. Like,
I feel like out of these guys, I've never heard of anybody except for Kenny Lofton Jr.
Jake LaRavia went to... I don't actually know. I forget where Jake LaRavia went. I don't know where David Roddy went. And I remember watching a Kenneth Lofton Jr. game. But Jake LaRavia put up a 15-2-2 stat line. David Roddy put an 18-0-5 stat line. And Kenneth Lofton put up a 17-3-5 stat line.
It's pretty great.
Those are good stat lines. Those
That's
are
awesome.
David Roddy is interesting to me because he's a bulky guard.
Okay.
Like Desmond Bain is a jacked guard. David Roddy is a bulky guard.
Hard matchup.
But he's like light on his feet too at the same time. He's built like a power forward, but he plays like a guard. Oh, and well, he's a short power forward. He's like a PJ Tucker.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If PJ Tucker
this
had
is
like
a
guard
wide
skills.
Guy.
Yeah. If PJ Tucker had like guard skills,
he's got a big chest, big biceps, dude. This is a big guy.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
It's not. He's got a fun look. I don't know if I'd call him like normal looking.
No, he's like, definitely like he's not a normal guard.
No, this guy excites me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like him. And then the Bucks
Colorado State.
That's what it was. Yes.
Check where football too. I think.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It looks like he's playing QB here.
Oh right, Jake LaRavia is he went to one of your favorite schools.
No way.
Wake Forest.
Oh no way! He's a Demon Deacon. Oh, I'm all in. Cool name, good school. Let's go.
And Jordan Nwora, he wasn't too bad too. He put up 21, 2 and 8 on 7 for 15. This is for the Bucks, but
I'd like you to make more than half of your shots from the field.
I feel like, well, because Jordan Nwora, I feel like is supposed to be their like fourth option. They're like their fifth option.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want you to miss half of your shots.
No,
like not necessarily a role player, but for lack of a better word, you're a role player as a fourth scoring option.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not Chris Middleton, you're not Drew Holiday, and you're definitely not Giannis.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. If you went 7 for 12, I'd be very impressed.
I'd be very impressed. Yeah,
that'd be good. But room for improvement. But,
okay. 7 for 15 is not too bad, I guess.
Again,
the Warriors beat the Wizards 104-95 in their rematch game. It kind of just reinforced everything I had said before. Like KP looks good. Golden State looks ready to make another title run. Kuminga and Wiseman are going to be terrifying in a couple of years.
Could have been a more fun storyline, but that's okay.
And now we're through like the other ones that I'm kind of just going to burn through a few of them. Celtics beat the Hornets. It was a stomp. It was 134-93. So it wasn't even close. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown went off that game.
Love it.
Raptors beat the Jazz 114-82. Markkanen looked pretty good in Utah. Put up it was like 20 points, I think. And he was solid. He looked smooth. He kind of gave me like, again, what was expected from Markkanen coming into the league when he played for the Bulls.
Well, I'd love to see some of these guys take kind of the step that they were supposed to. That'd be good.
I think it just took a few changes of scenery. Like
for a lot of guys, I'm sure it does. I mean, you don't always.
And also, like this is a system. You know? This is a system where Lauri Markkanen is the guy.
Right. That makes a big difference.
So I think he's playing more of like a small forward role than a power forward role though,
That's good.
which is interesting because originally he came into the league as like a power forward center kind of guy. Now he's like a small forward, power forward kind of guy.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good for him, to be honest. It gives him a more favorable matchup consistently and gives you a better option in terms of how you cover the floor. So I like that.
And then other things from this game that I don't have written down. Scotty Barnes makes me a happy man. Christian Coloco, although he didn't really do much, he looked good. He was boxing out. He was grabbing reps. He's doing everything you want from the 7-foot big man that doesn't score.
Yeah, doing the work.
Right. He's doing the dirty work, and I'm happy about that. I couldn't ask for anything more from him. So
that's great. It's perfect. Keep it up all year long.
Considering he was a second-round pick too, so like
anytime you can get production out of a second-round pick in the NBA, like for more than half a season, I feel like you're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm happy to have him. Rockets beat the Spurs 134-96. Tari Eason put up a 21-10 double-double for Houston.
Very fun.
Very nice. Jalen Green, I don't actually know if he played, but he didn't do anything impressive if he did.
That's okay. He doesn't need to.
And now the game that we're probably going to be spending a good chunk on as well.
I love this. And it's sad because I wanted this team to do well, and this is not a good start, but God damn it, is it funny.
Again, it's the preseason, but also
I don't think that would discredit this record at all.
The 36ers, not the 76ers, the 36ers, as in the Australian one.
Adelaide, baby.
Beat the Phoenix Suns 134-124.
And like a 10-point win is nothing to sneeze at. They didn't beat them by a bucket.
No. And the Phoenix Suns are the first team in NBA history to play their starters and lose to an NBL team.
So you're telling me that Chris Paul was on the floor?
Chris Paul was on the floor. Devin Booker was on the floor. DeAndre Ayton was on the floor.
Okay, just double checking.
There was a 6'2" guard that led the 36ers in rebounds with 9 rebounds. 6'2".
Nathan, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1", 6'2".
Do you think you could go out there and get some boards against DeAndre Ayton?
I didn't think so, but maybe I can now.
Maybe now. Also, it's possible.
This same guard had 16 assists.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just controlling the game.
What?
I love it, dude. I love it.
This doesn't bode well for Phoenix. Obviously, at least it isn't regular season. If this happened in the regular season, everyone would kind of just be.
I don't think that this game would be played in the regular season.
No, obviously it wouldn't. Because, the 36ers. But I mean, if this equivalent of the Thunder is beating the Suns, right?
That's true. That's true.
If the Pistons beat the Suns.
I guess, but at least that you don't sneeze at it. It's an NBA game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NBA talent. Those guys played and got drafted. They came from Australia. Most people didn't realize Australia had basketball until they saw this game.
The worst part is the 36ers came 7th out of 10 teams last year.
Oh my God, it's not even the Australian powerhouse.
It's not even the champions.
All right, next year there's a rematch in the preseason, but the Suns play whoever the top team is, and they got to prove that they can actually beat this league, right?
There's
now an overseas rivalry.
There's eventually you have to look at your team and be what's wrong, right?
Right.
They should have beat Dallas last year in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Not get blown out by 50 points in Game 7. And they should have beat the 36ers now.
Of course.
This
should have been a fun showing of, hey, look at Australian basketball, but don't worry, it's the Suns. But
yeah,
it's not.
Is it DeAndre Ayton? Is it Monty Williams? Is it just general locker room problems?
I don't know. I don't know how you don't the coach almost exists at a certain point to be fired, right? Like that's eventually your job as a coach is to be fired. I don't care how
Yeah,
good you are.
like
That's what happens. So
that's what happens to everybody. Yeah.
I assume you start there,
Like,
but how many coaches have they run through in this run of like being great but not winning?
I think they've only had Monty Williams.
Really? He's been that
Yeah,
consistent? Like
he has, but like
I don't know
they
how
keep
long
coming up
does
short.
regular season success keep you though?
I don't know. Because they don't even have preseason success anymore,
Not anymore.
let alone postseason success. If it's not regular season, they don't have it.
That's rough. I don't know, man.
It is. It
If
is
you're a
rough.
Suns fan, do you just start planning what you get for what assets you have and when you trade them to make like do you
Yeah,
just start
literally.
looking at
And
next stage? Like I don't know.
the whole Son or Robert Sarver situation.
Oh my god, yeah,
So
of
they're
course.
selling their team too. Like
Oh my god, this could be up in the air in Phoenix for the next 2 or 3 years.
we said this, I think it was a couple episodes ago. Like the Suns just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
This is
Like
incredible. Like we should
anytime
start
they
like
get some form of success, they just shoot themselves in the
because
foot.
losing to the 36ers was not on my bingo card. You know what I mean? Like
No,
that's not
I didn't even have that as the free spot on my
that's
bingo
what I
card. It's like
need. Like I
it
don't
was
know.
so guaranteed that the Suns would win that like I guarantee you there's someone out there that bet like $100 on the 36ers beating the Suns and are now rich.
What do you think that would pay out?
I don't know, probably a lot of money.
That it must have.
At minimum, if you bet 100, at minimum like 400.
I would hope.
Minimum.
I love it. I hope somebody is. I hope somebody's rolling in money today, laughing
Somebody
their
just
balls off.
Because like that's nuts. Phoenix needs to get their shit together.
Nathan, you're now in charge of the Phoenix Suns. What's your first move? What's your first move?
Well,
There's a new owner here.
Honestly,
but the team, the coaching staff is exactly the same. You're the first hire of the new owner.
First of all, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's happening in the locker room because apparently Jay Crowder doesn't want to be there anymore.
Really?
So I'm moving Jay Crowder. I'm potentially moving DeAndre Ayton because I know he doesn't want to be there. And I'm having a stern talking to Monty Williams. If Monty Williams doesn't get it together, he's getting fired. Like I wouldn't fire Monty Williams yet. I'd give him a little bit again because again, like regular season success and everything, and like you'd be shooting yourself in the foot more by firing him.
Hey, I'd like you to know, just because it's exciting, Gabby Mourinho just hit his first career home run in Baltimore.
Oh, attaboy.
So let's go. Continue.
But yeah, I'm moving Jay Crowder because he doesn't want to be there. During media day, DeAndre Ayton was like, they asked him, well, how did you feel when the Suns matched your offer sheet? And he went, happy because it's all over. and then the reporter was like, that's it? And he's like, yep.
That's so funny.
Like so he doesn't want to be there.
It's like, oh, that's what it took. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he was like, oh, great. Like they had to match my offer sheet. Like that's...
Yeah, like clearly they didn't. I don't know. I think like, do you give teams a little bit more credit in terms of at least like strategically planning financially to see like, okay, how much can we pay him? And then because that stipulation's in the NBA, you can kind of take advantage of it and just go, okay, well, we always have that insurance policy of whatever it is, we can pay that also.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, because when I'm planning a team, like going into an off season, if I have a big free agent I'm not totally 100% on, I'll see what he gets paid, and if I'm not willing to pay that for him, then I know that it's not, like I don't know. I think
because the fact that the Suns were gonna match whatever he got offered anyway, right?
Exactly. So why not just take a gamble and see if somebody gives him less than what you were willing to, match that and call it a day?
Yeah.
I don't think that should be seen. I mean, it might feel like an insult, but I don't think that should be seen as an insult to DeAndre Ayton.
But I don't know. I guess he wanted more money than the Suns were offering him.
That's fair.
And he has yet to really show why he deserves that money. Like, he's by no means a bad player.
No, not at all.
He was a first overall pick. He plays like a first.
You are happy no matter what
sometimes.
team you cheer for if he's on your team.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a really, really good player. He's a potential all-star. Like, he's a borderline all-star. He's just not max worthy, though. Like, I mean, granted, neither is like Tyler Hero, but he got a bag.
Which is true, but you cannot, like, as an agent, it is always, but it can't always be like, okay, but look what that guy got. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well,
like,
we're not.
You have to take into account you're the Phoenix
you know what
Suns.
I mean? Like, yeah.
You have to take into account you're the Phoenix Suns. You're paying Chris Paul and Devin Booker already.
Exactly.
Like, you only have so much money. You got to use it wisely.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, as a player, I've said this before. I'm not a player, but if I was, I would want the team that's paying me to be smart with what they're paying the other players as well, because it means better success for myself.
Exactly.
But
especially
obviously, that's not necessarily the reason why you go play pro sports.
No, normally it's
a career. So,
but yeah. Also, another game we had was the Sixers played the Nets. Sixers beat the Nets. Ben Simmons looked like Ben Simmons, except he looked really overconfident and he was taking like fadeaway mid-range jumpers and they were clanking off the backboard and not touching the rim.
Because he's Ben Simmons.
And yeah.
That's fun. Love to see that continues.
So he's being aggressive again. He's willing to take shots again. He forgot that he doesn't have a jump shot.
Man, he's disappointing.
Yeah, he looked so promising in the first few years of his career.
Yeah.
And now I feel like he's just gonna kind of go down in history as like a joke.
I don't know.
I mean, he can probably
make like the Hall of Very Good. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he makes the Hall of Solid.
The Hall of Okay.
Yeah, the Hall of, he had a good couple of years.
Sad.
Yeah, it's Joel Embiid's looking really good though. So
he better.
Joel Embiid's probably going to win MVP this year. That's who I have my money on.
Well,
I don't actually have money on it yet, but
based on how Ben Simmons played, he better.
Grizzlies beat the Magic. Paolo continues to look like the real deal. He's definitely a number one overall pick kind of guy. He also kind of looked like a Blake Griffin, if that makes sense. Like he was just going through people. And if people were in his way and he couldn't go through them, he'd just go around them.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna score. That's it.
So give him his bucket of towels, give him his 19 Gatorades, let this man go to work.
Absolutely.
Magic got themselves a good one.
Employ yourselves a man who can exclusively cater to Paolo's sweat and hydration. That's all you need. Literally.
The Thunder beat the Nuggets, which I don't think the Nuggets played Jokic. So that's that might be why.
If they did, I have a problem with this, but okay.
I can check right now while we do the next thing. The Kings blew out the Lakers
big time,
107-75. LeBron put up a 4-1-2 stat line on 0 for 7. Russ put up a 5-2-3 on 2 for 3, and AD put up an 11-11-2 on 4 for 9. I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, man. Like,
it's preseason. We can leave it at that.
It's preseason.
Right?
It's also the Nuggets did play Jokic. Jokic put up a 2-5-3 stat line.
Okay, so it's just preseason. That's okay.
It's preseason.
Yep.
But also 0 for 7, LeBron.
That's just I feel like that breaks some type of career stretch, right? Like when's the last time you went 0 for? What, like 2006? I don't know. Like,
the year he got drafted, 2003.
I was gonna say, like, what? I don't know, man. If he takes a shot, you feel like one of them's gonna go in.
Well, at least one of them has to go in, right?
Like, okay, well, it's a given. He probably makes the last one. We can anticipate that. He's proven that over his career.
Yeah.
The first one, sure, we'll go 50-50. But if it's any more than 2, it's at least going to be 50-50. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, man. Okay. Weird.
Yeah. Over 7. But I was right about Keegan Murray. I think you were here. I think this is in one of the episodes, actually. I was talking about how the Kings should take Keegan Murray 4th because they need a power forward. They don't need a point guard, so they shouldn't take Jaden Ivey. Keegan Murray has looked nothing but great since they've drafted him. And I would just like to flex for a couple seconds how smart I am. And the fact that Keegan Murray
could, like, I don't know, do something fun for you, but you can just have your few seconds of silence and give respect.
Yep. And I was right about Keegan Murray, so other games, Clippers beat the Trailblazers. Nothing really happened. Kawhi looked good. That was pretty much it. Knicks beat the Pistons. RJ Barrett finally kind of looks like his all-star self. Again, it's preseason, but he scored 21 points on 8 for 14. It's a good sign because his main 2 problems are normally just his passing vision and his inefficiency with his shot. So they fixed his inefficiency, more or less. Passing vision, not so much, but whatever. Jaden Ivey's looking poised to be like the first option offensively for the Pistons, with Cade Cunningham being the primary facilitator. So it's going to be pretty good. I'm telling you right now, the Pistons are going to be the Eastern Conference equivalent of the Grizzlies in a couple years.
That's an exciting outlook.
That's what I see for the Pistons because they have so many young players that all have kind of like the grit.
I would enjoy
and
that
all have the skill set for it. And Jaden Ivey is literally just a younger John Morant, which is crazy because John Morant is young, but he's a younger John Morant.
Very, very fun to think about. And I mean, as a Raptors fan, I'd rather see Detroit not be good, but as a sports fan, Detroit's a fun, like Detroit basketball is a good time. Great.
Yeah. Timberwolves beat the Heat. I didn't watch that game, so
sorry.
I don't really know what else to say. Rudy Gobert maybe played well. Pelicans beat the Bulls. Zion is terrifying. He held back, which is good because it's preseason, so like don't get injured.
Yeah, that's your.
But when he did get the ball, he was getting to the rim. There was no stopping
Zion.
him. He was Zion.
Love it.
And then lastly, the Jazz beat the Trailblazers. And then the rest of preseason games are happening today. Like everything else. So this next week, we'll probably be going through the same thing. Maybe it'll be a bit shorter. Maybe it'll be just as long. Who knows? And last bit of basketball news. Wembanyama versus Scoot Henderson.
So sad that I have like work to do today and nothing but work to do today, because now that I've seen these highlights, I just want to go play with Wembanyama in 2K.
Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson are worth tanking for. I'm telling you right now.
The tank show is going to be fun when you get 2 or 3 teams down there at the end of the year.
Before we get into the discussion,
starters, dude,
we need to talk about the most important thing of this game. There was a player whose last name was Ho You Fat.
I think I saw that actually.
Yeah, and it's spelled exactly how you think it's spelled.
Yeah, I almost sent that to you, but I didn't take it credibly enough to even look into it. But what?
That is on the back of his jersey.
It isn't like one word. It isn't like
no. It is
like
three for
Middle European
3 words.
Country you've never heard of. It
is Ho.
It is HO. You fat.
Fat. 3 words.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. All right.
Like your last name alone is a comeback.
His first name is Steve, but it's Steeve. Steve Ho You Fat, and he's French.
This man is a my player. There's no explanation.
I don't. I was in French class. They never taught me this part.
Like, well, this man sounds fake. He just sounds like a
I
made
don't
up man.
know.
Steve Hoyufat.
This might be one of my favorite things I think ever. I don't know. The child in me is like
I want a
peeing
Hoyufat
himself
jersey.
laughing right now. We gotta
I
get
need a
one. That's the
Hoyufat
first
jersey.
thing we get in our actual studio. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna get a framed, signed Hoyufat jersey.
Oh, you better believe it. Awesome. All right, tell
But
me.
anyway,
about
we
how
should
good
probably
Wembanyama
I was like
was.
we should probably talk about the actual reason we're talking about this. Wembanyama put up a 37.4 rebound stat line with 5 blocks and 7-11 from deep.
Monster.
He's literally he's not real. He's for those who don't know, Wembanyama is 7'2", not in shoes.
Not in shoes. Jesus.
This man had to duck under the metal detector when he walked into the arena.
That's hilarious, dude.
And he's shooting 7-11 from deep.
What's crazy is he looks tall enough. He looks like he could step over the metal detector if it was really in his way.
Literally. I think he was listed in shoes. He's listed somewhere around like 7'4".
I can't remember what he is in 2K, but it's probably not accurate because he's a freak.
Yeah, though this man can like. If you thought Chet Holmgren could dribble, Victor Wembanyama can dribble better. If you thought Chet Holmgren could shoot, Victor Wembanyama can shoot better.
Nathan, I want you to know that I typed in VI in my Google and it pulled up Victor Wembanyama because it knows me. It gets me.
Like if you're listening to this and you haven't watched Victor Wembanyama highlights, go watch them, please. This man is.
I'm gonna splash some pictures up just so you can see him. I think, but you have to go watch him play.
Yeah, he looks like a photoshopped person.
He doesn't look real. You can't believe this person exists.
No. And then there was
very happy
his counterpart. His counterpart, Scoot Henderson.
In terms of draft status, at the very least.
Yeah. 28 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Yeah, I think it was 11 for 21, like total. He's explosive. He's kind of giving me Anthony Edwards vibes. He doesn't really shoot the 3 shot, like 2 for 3 from deep. These two playing gives me like my career vibes. Like it feels like I was watching like a my career on Hall of Fame mode.
Extremely accurate. I cannot lie.
It's just two guys going at it. Victor Wembanyama is your my player and Scoot Henderson is your rival, but like he's not garbage.
He was drafted in the 1 spot. You were the 2 pick or something. It's like your 3rd years in the league.
Yeah,
you're like
literally
in a playoff race.
Like I'm so excited to watch these guys come to the league.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Who do you think?
They're gonna be going at?
Who do you think gets who?
Ooh, I think the Spurs get Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
Who do I think would get second? Maybe the Rockets with Jalen Green.
I don't want Henderson to go to Houston.
I don't want him to go to
Anybody
Houston
who goes to Houston, just like I don't know. I feel like you're already dooming yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Wembanyama in San Antonio is not overly exciting, but anywhere he goes, he's going to make exciting. So that's fine.
He's going to be the guy in San Antonio too.
I know, and that's the thing too is like he's going to have a chance to just go out there and be like all NBA first team rookie year if he really wanted to.
Yeah, literally all-star rookie year. Like Victor Wembanyama's. Could you imagine? It used to be Wembanyama and Amani Bates.
I know.
Then Amani Bates ruined his entire career.
Amani Bates replacing Scoot Henderson here, though, would be, I feel like, a more entertaining discussion because these two guys are so different. And Amani Bates and Wembanyama, while being very different, if not for Wembanyama's freakishness physically, they're relatively similar players in that I think
pretty much
talent-wise they can do everything and they're both going to be your number one no matter what.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So,
well, like Wembanyama is going to be, in my books, Wembanyama is the first overall pick. Henderson's the 2.
Absolutely.
But if Henderson was in any other draft, he's the 1.
Absolutely. You got the unfortunate luck of coming in the same year as a literal freak of nature that the
Yeah.
likes of which you just don't see.
Like someone that was literally handcrafted to be a basketball god.
You can't say he was built in a lab because if he was, he would be like 275 pounds of solid muscle. But
Yeah, he's a walking stick man, but like he's a 7'4" stick man. So like
it doesn't matter. It's okay because he's just so good. It's fine.
I don't understand how this man can move the way he does.
I do worry about his defense on some of the big men in the league, but I think at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter. And you give him 3 years of like healthy playing time. If he can manage that, he can build
and
up
if he
enough
puts on a
strength
little
to
bit of
be
muscle,
okay.
if he puts on the tiniest bit of muscle, he's literally Giannis with a jump shot,
I know.
and that's terrifying.
Oh God, I know.
I kind of want that.
Him and Bronny Jr. are like the most entertaining duo I've ever played with in any video game. And my Sonic franchise is like, it's such an addiction because of those two. Like, even just in video game form. Like, I know I bring it
Yeah.
up a lot, but it's just, they're so much fun.
Well, it's because he is a walking. He's a video game character.
He is. Like, it's such a.
He put
like,
up 37 and 4 with 5 blocks and
Yeah.
7-11 from
and
deep.
the blocks come easy as well. Like, I want you to know
He
that
just puts his hand up.
he
and a
just
block,
puts
and
his
it's like-
hand up and he throws the ball across the court.
He literally blocked a guy without jumping.
He did.
He just
He can
put his
reach
hand
over
up, and
top
he
of
just
another
took it.
defender and just knock it out of the player's hands.
Like
He's a freak.
it's not fair.
I love it. I love it. I could talk about Wembanyama for 3.5 days and not get bored.
But anyway, we've been talking about basketball for 46 minutes now.
I know. I'm gonna have to fucking fly.
We got some other
Um,
sports to cover real quick.
We got
so
a
maybe we should
lot
hop
of
into
stuff
those.
to cover this week. I will just jump really quick through the two shortest ones. Matthew Barzal got an 8-year, $73 million extension from the Islanders, I do believe. I could be wrong. I just
I believe
added
it's
this in
the Islanders,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, he's from Coquitlam, BC. He was first round 16th pick overall. He's great. A lot of people probably haven't heard the name, but he's fantastic. I remember him playing for junior teams. He's really good.
Well, if you know hockey, you know.
If you know hockey, you know Matthew Barzal. Good for him. He got the bag. And then I'm also going to do college football real quick because it's stuff that I don't really know about, but TCU upset Oklahoma. And I think that's the second time now I've had to say somebody upset Oklahoma. And this one was a 55-24 blowout. Oklahoma is now 3-2 overall and 0-2 in their conference. So bye-bye playoffs. Can't wait to see what shit bowl game they get. Wisconsin fired Paul Christ. I hope it's not Paul Christ because that's not comfortable. And Colorado fires Carl Durrell. A lot of coaches getting fired early in the season here. I don't know if that's normal for college football, but it seems
maybe it might just be because people are having like inhumanly bad seasons.
Yeah, everybody's bad. I don't know how it happens. There's too many teams for you to not win some of them, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Like if everyone's bad, you would think some people would be good.
Somebody must be doing well. Nope, nobody. Everybody's terrible.
Everyone's just.
I mean,
bad.
I guess like I don't know. I know when I was looking at Oklahoma conference records, there was it might have been Kansas was undefeated. I don't know. Somebody was undefeated. And there was a couple like 4-1 teams, but other than that, everybody else was pretty mediocre. So yeah, I don't know. I guess this might just be college football, Nathan. But real football, pretty goddamn exciting. And because of a slight delay in recording this week, we get to talk about every game. Because of a lot of basketball talk, we might not. So gotta try and get through these. I did watch quite a few highlights yesterday of some of these games.
I watched the Bengals-Dolphins game.
Yeah, it was fun.
I had money on it, and I'm a little sad about it.
You should have watched the Seahawks game.
I'm seeing the notes for it.
Yeah. So Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-15.
I think I had money on that game too, actually.
Mixon had a tough TD run. Big dog pile, pushing them forward inches at a time. Those are my favorite rushing touchdowns. Dolphins kind of juggled and missed a short TD pass. They settled for a field goal. And big talking point later, Tua got sacked awkwardly in the third quarter. Teddy Bridgewater came in for the rest of the game. It's kind of a field goal fest. Von Bell had 2 picks. Joe Burrow, 20 for 31, 287 yards, 2 TDs. Nathan, you watched it. What did you think?
It was. I think it was going well for the Dolphins until Tua got sacked.
That's exactly what I saw. And it's not looking good for the Dolphins since sack either.
Nope.
Vikings beat the Saints 28-25. Same thing here. Cousins looked phenomenal early, like I mean unbeatable, until he got sacked late in the first. And then it was like I think there was like 2 interceptions in a row on the next straight possessions. It went downhill fast. Andy Dalton was 20 for 28, 236 yards and a TD. It's kind of whatever. Kind of forgot that he was in New Orleans, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, same. I just forgot.
Kind of forgot he was in the NFL, if I'm going to be honest.
I just remember him being in Cincinnati, and that's it. And then Joe Burrow coming along, and then him not having a job.
Exactly. Seahawks beat the Lions 48-45. Really, I bet nobody had that score prediction anywhere.
Nope.
Geno Smith.
There was no defense that game.
That guy, he was 23 for 30 with 320 yards, 2 TDs. Rashad Penny at 151 yards. Jared Goff was great too, 26 for 39, 378 yards, 4 TDs and an INT.
You know what's hilarious?
What?
I had money on this game for both of them to throw more than 80 yards.
Wow. Easy.
I think it hit.
Easy money. You got, I think, over 700 yards, almost 700 yards of total yardage just in the air here. So, yeah, you're good. Seahawks fumbled a punt return in the first, and the Lions scored, but they missed the extra point, and then Geno ran for like a 15-yard TD. That was really fun. The first time the Lions have allowed first quarter points all year so far, which I found very interesting.
Huh.
It was a great game. I felt that you could show anybody who didn't get why football was fun. I feel like if anybody who doesn't get football watches that, they're like, okay, I see why you would watch this.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing game. Jets beat the Steelers 24-20. Zach Wilson had a good final drive, but other than that, it was pretty terrible. The Jets were really hyped after the win, but not the most incredible game. Giants beat the Bears 20-12. Justin Fields again, just excessively mediocre in limited attempts. I don't know, because their rushing game wasn't good either. It was bad. I don't know what he's doing. Why he has targets. Throw it more. Like he had it was 15 attempts or something all game. Like
Justin Fields is just, as far as I've seen, Justin Fields is just afraid to throw the ball right now.
That's all I can seem to tell, because he's inefficient and he just refuses to throw it.
Yeah, and like week 1, I think he went 7 for 11.
Yeah, it's not. That's what I mean. It's been a thing.
Like, if this is basketball, good job. That's great. But
yeah, excellent field goal percentage
terrible
in basketball, but you're a quarterback, so that's a problem. Khalil Herbert and Darnell Mooney both played well in the loss. Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor were terrible. It was kind of Saquon's show. He just didn't have any TDs, so he got them in position, and they scored other ways. Titans beat the Colts 24-17. It was all pretty much wrapped up before halftime. Matt Ryan was really good, 27 for 37 with 356 yards, 2 TDs and a pick. Chargers beat the Texans 34-24. Justin Herbert was awesome, 340 yards, 2 TDs. Mike Williams, 7 receptions for 120 yards, no scores. Weird. Davis Mills, really good too here, 246 yards. He was 2-2 in TDs and interceptions, and Damian Pierce had only 14 carries but 131 yards, 1 touchdown. It's exciting. Falcons beat the Browns 23-20. Nick Chubb was decent, but the Falcons overall were just terrible. They won on field goals. It was literally the only person who mattered on that team at all that day was their kicker. Nobody else did anything. Cowboys crushed the Commanders.
I think I have their kicker too in my fantasy.
Oh, well, then you crushed it then.
I'm a very happy boy.
He might set a season high in kicker points.
I might have lost though, because I kept Khalil Herbert on my bench.
Oh, yeah, that might not have worked. Cowboys crushed the Commanders 25-10. There's not really anything to talk about there. Eagles beat the Jaguars. Sorry, Nathan, 29-21.
It's okay. It was bound to happen. They were up 14-0 at half or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the game
then it did
doesn't
not.
end at
And then we were like,
halftime.
they're not winning this game, and then they
Yeah.
lost.
Trevor Lawrence had 2 TDs, but he was pretty disappointing overall. Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, and A.J. Brown were all pretty good. Sanders especially, he ran all over Jacksonville. He had 27 carries, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And fun fact, sorry Nathan, but Philly stays undefeated. They're the only team remaining without a loss so far.
Yeah.
So you didn't have good odds going into that one.
No.
Bills beat the Ravens 23-20. Nobody was very good offensively in this game. It was just kind of decent by everybody's standards. There's only 3 sacks in the game too, so weird. Ravens. This was a big kind of prove it game, I feel like, and you didn't prove anything, so disappointing. Cardinals beat the Panthers 26-16. McCaffrey was decent receiving, but again, nobody was very good. Raiders beat the Broncos 32-23. Russ had 237 yards, 2 TDs. Josh Jacobs, 144 yards, 2 TDs. Devontae Adams had 101 yards. And hot boy Max Crosby, 2 sacks. He looked good. Packers beat the Pats 27-24. I didn't know this was a person, Bailey Zapp, for the Pats. Great name. Shit line, 10 for 15, 99 yards, 1 TD. Not good. Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers things. Mac Jones obviously out with the high ankle sprain right now. Aaron Jones had 110 yards, and Rashawn Gary had 2 sacks. Chiefs beat the Bucks 41-31. Mahomes 3 TDs, 250 yards. Brady, what the fuck? 39 for 52, 385 yards, 3 TDs. And the Bucks ran the ball like 6 times all game for a total of like 1 yard, but that's because they were negative on a few rushing attempts. It was literally
who is Tom Brady as their starting quarterback in fantasy?
You do, for sure.
I do. Yep.
Yeah. I remember judging you for that pick.
Clearly it paid off.
Yeah, Mike Evans, if he had him, 103 yards, 2 TDs.
I did not have Mike Evans.
Brady just being a monster again. And I'm glad we got to cover this game a little bit too, because it was probably one of the more exciting reasons for non-football activities.
Oh, yeah.
49ers killed the Rams yesterday, 24-9.
And one of the most beautiful hits of the game happened that game, and it wasn't during the game.
Yeah, probably the talking point of the week for the NFL. We're going to get through the game stuff. Matty Stafford was great, 32 for 48, 254 yards. The problem is no TDs and 1 interception, so that'll hurt. Cooper Kupp, again, no touchdowns, but 122 yards, and nobody else did much of anything. Jimmy G, great. Coming in as the backup, 16 for 27, 239 and a score. Jeffrey Wilson was good. Deebo Samuel had 115 yards and a score. And then we got to the moment that we've all been waiting for. And if you haven't seen this video, I encourage you to go watch it. Bobby Wagner, a bad man. He hurts people coming over the middle. And those people get paid to do it. This guy was doing it because he was protesting something. I didn't care enough to really look into it because it seemed to have a bit of a snooty tone to it. He came on with a smoke grenade in his pants and like stuff painted on his shirt, and he was running across the field and he was running down the sidelines. And Bobby Wagner, like a 15-year veteran of the NFL, one of the like most intense linemen, whatever he plays in the NFL, he dropped the shoulder and just crushed this man.
Completely laid him out.
Nathan, this guy is not an NFL player. He's like 5'7", 5'8", like 160 pounds, protesting. And Bobby Wagner ended his life on public national television. So it was really, really exciting. I really, really hope everybody can go look at it.
It was beautiful.
Nathan, something that also, for the wrong reasons, is exciting.
Yes, for the wrong reasons.
Hot boys. I don't know if this affects his hot boy status on like my NFL sexiest player list, but we might have to take it into consideration. Myles Garrett is okay after a car crash. Nathan, I included some links, and I highly encourage you to look at them.
I've seen the photos of them. I've seen the photos of the crash.
Did you see the video of the officers approaching him when he was getting checked out on the scene?
I did not.
That one you should watch. It's the daytime in this.
Yeah, it's just in the broad daylight.
In like some cornfield in Ohio. He said that this wreck was a serious wake-up call for him to drive safer. He's been cited speeding several times since being drafted by Cleveland in 2017. He was hit with a citation for failure to control his car. He told authorities that he was going 65 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone. I don't know if you can do that to a Porsche going 65.
Yeah.
I was in a car that did that, and it was going faster than 65 miles an hour, and it looked similar. So I don't know if I totally believe that. But he and his 23-year-old passenger, a young lady, fortunately escaped, relatively unscathed. Garrett suffered a shoulder sprain and a bicep strain. He was feeling much better at the time of this interview I was reading. His 23-year-old passenger, like I said, she's blurred in the videos, but she looks to be a young lady. Definitely much smaller than Miles Garrett. Probably a little bit more room in that Porsche to bang around when they went end over end.
Probably can't take the hit as easily too.
Yeah, she was laying on the ground being checked out. They were checking her for her motor capabilities. They were like moving her arms and her legs. And he was just sitting up, flexing his arm, making sure his bicep was good with the firefighter. He seemed dazed, but I was confused. It's literally like 1:30 in the afternoon. Your Porsche is totaled in a ditch, and I'm confused. You make a lot of money and play professional football. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never really understood people driving like super recklessly.
Well, I get it if you're just like, because like people are animals, so like if you give them toys, they're gonna play with them. But
that's true.
You don't get enough adrenaline coming around the edge and murdering a quarterback once a week. Like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It was a nice Porsche. It's not like it's something ridiculous. It's a Porsche. A lot of guys drive them. They're fast, sure, but I don't know. You got a young lady in the car. You're out cruising Ohio. Like
that's also what highways are for, though. Like,
well, that's the thing too. Is like, why are you like? I don't know. If this really was you just going 65 and a 45 down a back road, well, why? I don't know. If you're going down a back road, why were you doing 65? Like, just that's not that much faster than 45, but obviously it's enough to be dangerous. Just slow down and enjoy the cruise that you're clearly out here for. And I don't know. You make a lot of money. Like, you don't need to be stupid like this. You've already been cited a few years in a row now for, speeding and being a dick behind the wheel. Maybe don't be a dick behind the wheel, because eventually they're going to take shit away from you.
Yep. No more Porsche. Well, I guess the Porsche is also, regardless, no more Porsche.
No, I saw a video of it after it got towed to whatever garage it was in, and I don't know what happened, but everything that was kind of hanging on the car was just ripped off the car in there, and it didn't look like a recognizable vehicle.
Yeah, I know. I've seen photos of the Porsche since the Porsche is no longer a Porsche.
When it was pulled out of the ditch, it didn't look as bad as it looked once it got to the shop. So I don't know what.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad.
The tow truck also rolled over. I don't know if the Ohio roads are that bad.
They threw it into another ditch.
Maybe that's what we didn't consider. Maybe we didn't consider that Ohio back roads probably aren't the best maintained roads in the nation.
Maybe
he's not lying. Maybe it's 45 for a reason. Maybe that's 65. He just caught like a 4 foot pothole and went end over end out of there down the ditch. I don't know. Anything's possible. Sterling Shepard tears his ACL. He's going to miss the rest of the season. It occurred on the Giants' final offensive play of the game. Dallas cornerback Trayvon Diggs, brother or cousin, I believe, of Stephon Diggs, intercepted Daniel Jones after David Sills V fell down. Cowboys offense kneeled out the rest of the clock, and on the other side of the field, Shepard was clutching at his knee and falling to the turf. So that's not good, because the only remaining wide receivers on the active roster are obviously Sills, Richie James, and Darius Slayton, who does not have a catch this season.
Oh, that's not good.
They already have, I think, 3 of their first 3 wide receivers injured for multiple weeks, and now Sterling Shepard as well. So
So what
Daniel
do you do?
Jones, you better figure out how to be a mobile quarterback.
Yep.
Saquon, you're going to do nothing but run the ball 40 times a game until we get a receiver back.
From Lamar Jackson real quick. And
Yep. Enjoy. Something that's it's pretty sad. A little bit, I don't know. I was confused. I'll get to it. Gavin Escobar, former tight end, he was found dead over the last week. He played for the Cowboys, most notably. He was picked in the second round in 2013. Apparently, it was a rock climbing accident in California. He was 31, and officials reported that there were 2 injured rock climbers at, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Taquit's Rock in Idlewild around 12:30 on Wednesday afternoon, like in the middle of the day. And when they made it to the scene, they found that both victims were already dead. Escobar was ID'd as one of the hikers, and a 33-year-old woman, Chelsea Walsh, was ID'd as the other. Further details surrounding the causes of death not immediately available. I couldn't find anything in the days afterwards that had kind of updated beyond that. Escobar, I didn't know this. He's in retirement. He's a father of 2. He had become a firefighter with the Long Beach Fire Department. So that's pretty cool. I assume a lot of guys from pro sports might do something like that if they don't have a long career, but I haven't heard about a lot of guys who do that. So that was interesting. There was a quote from the SDSU football coach, Brady Hoke, who said, "Our thoughts and prayers go out to Gavin's family. I know his wife, Sarah, and daughters, Josie and Charlotte, were everything to him. Gavin was a great man, father, son, and teammate, and will be deeply missed by all. And as tragic as this is, and our condolences to everybody involved, but I was confused. I didn't warrant a research because I felt it disrespectful, but I was questioning who's he climbing with. If his wife is Sarah, he's climbing with Chelsea Walsh. Are they like?
That's true.
Are they like climbing friends or like? But it's weird. It was only them, and like nobody else. I didn't hear anybody else had been reported to be climbing with them. It was just that 2 climbers had been injured.
I mean, obviously, I'll give him benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt. He sounds like a lovely guy, and he was a decent football player, and nobody deserves this, and I feel terrible. But I was questioning, but I haven't heard anything surrounding that. That's literally just my own inappropriate speculation, so I'm not going to give that any type of validity. Just something that came to my mind. And then, like I was saying earlier, Tua taken to the hospital with a neck injury. He was kind of suplexed right onto the back of his helmet. And there's a lot going on here because this is coming after a week when he was already injured and had an issue and was cleared to come back. And since then, there's been firings. So I'm going to try and get through this quickly. The NFL Players Association terminated, this was explicitly stated multiple times, the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant who was involved with the evaluation of Tua for concussion protocol during their game against the Bills the week before. He was terminated after they found he had made several mistakes, in quotations, in his evaluation, their evaluation, pardon me. Both the NFL and the PA said they anticipate changes to the protocol being made in the coming days on what has been learned thus far in the review process, quote unquote. So what in the review process it took for you to realize that your concussion protocol is shit, I'm not sure. We've known that for quite a while.
Yep. There's literally a movie about it.
Mm-hmm. Tua was knocked out of the game in the second quarter against the Bills by linebacker Matt Milano, and his helmet hit the turf. He got up stumbling and was taken to the locker room, and Milano was flagged for roughing the passer. And the Dolphins initially announced that he was questionable to return with a head injury, but he came back onto the field in the third quarter and finished the game. He looked decent stat-wise. He told reporters after the game that he fell onto his back and hit his head on the turf, causing his back to lock up and the stumbling. And he added that he was evaluated for a concussion but was ultimately cleared. He did say, and I don't like this quote, the adrenaline kept me going.
Yeah, I would prefer that you were just okay.
Yeah, I don't want my star quarterback to be running on strictly adrenaline and not his physical capabilities, especially when he's like 23.
Even if he gets cleared, a responsible coach would tell him that he's not playing.
I would think, but it is the NFL. So that was
But it is the
all
NFL,
week
they just
3.
don't care.
That was all week 3. Now, against the Bengals this week, he was sacked by Cincinnati Bengals defensive lineman Josh Tupu. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope it's not Tupu. Good God, I hope it's not Tupu. In the second quarter of the game, and he was motionless on the field for a few minutes. It was not a nice hit. If you watch it, immediately you go, "Oh yeah, that's not okay."
Yeah,
that looks
immediately.
awkward. The entire Dolphins sideline walked onto the field as he was placed on a backboard and stretcher before being taken to a hospital. His forearms were flexed and his fingers were contorted. And I read through a CNN article that is a sign of a fencing response, it's called, and it can be linked to a brain injury. So that's just some CNN chief medical correspondent making a speculation. I didn't read anything from the NFL or the Dolphins or anything like that, but it didn't look good. I'll say that. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like he was in a lot of pain, and it's not a big hit either. Like,
Yeah, no, it was just
I
kind of
called
like
it a
lifting him up
suplex.
and
Like,
then just
it's
like
not even that believable.
he
Of
just
a
kind of
suplex.
pulled him
It's just
down.
he kind of
He, like,
landed
pulled-
like square on the back of his like neck, right at the base of
Yeah.
his head. So, God, I really hope Tua's okay. Throwing some Mullen, he deserves to come back, and I want him and the Miami Dolphins to be everything they can be, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
this is not the way to get to it. But yeah, so some tough news coming out of football this week. A lot of mediocre games this week, but something far from mediocre. MLB playoffs are officially set. I do want to note that Cal Raleigh, aka Big Dumper, walked it off in Seattle on a home run to send the Mariners to the postseason for the first time in 21 years. They get to come play the Blue Jays now. The full lineup here for the playoffs in the American League, the number 1 Astros and number 2 Yankees obviously both get byes, being the top 2 conference winners, or division winners. The wild card series, as I said, the Mariners are coming to play the Jays. It's the 5 seed versus the 4 seed. And in the other wild card series, the Rays are going to play the Guardians. The Guardians are in the wild card because they were the worst of the 3 division winners. That's the way this new playoff bracket works. And in the National League for the same thing, so number 1 Dodgers and number 2 Braves get the byes. Wild card series 5 versus 4. It's the Padres at the Mets. That's going to be a really fun wild card series. You're going to have to watch that one. And the other series there is the Phillies at the Cardinals. Again, Cardinals being the 3 seed. Going to be Pujols, Yadi Molina, Adam Wainwright in their final playoff run. So again, that's one that you probably want to watch in terms of baseball magic. But there's a lot of news in baseball because it is the end of the season. Nathan, I don't know if you've really been paying attention to this little thing at all with Aaron Judge and the home runs.
I don't know if I've heard about it. If you want to enlighten me.
Okay, well, thanks to again a delay, we get to talk about this right after it happened. Judge ties Maris 61 in Toronto. It was fun. It went into the Jays bullpen. Jays closing pitcher Jordan Romano, Canadian, gave it to the Yankees pitcher Aroldis Chapman. Judge gave it to his mom afterwards. I saw, looked really nice. And then yesterday he hit 62 in Texas. Officially the American League home run record holder for a single season, as it's put. I will call him the home run record leader.
Yeah.
Maris with 61 in my mind was always it, and now I feel happy saying that I was alive to see Aaron Judge hit 62 and become the official all-time record holder because everybody else who's gotten further has admitted steroid use. Corey Humans caught it. This is interesting. It's not the feel-good story we had with Pujols necessarily in Pittsburgh, and I'm not going to say it's not a feel-good story. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Soon after, he was rushed away by security, obviously. They're taking the ball to go get authenticated, but they're not going to take the ball from him, so he comes with them. And a local TV station posted a brief interview where they had a camera and they were following him down the walkway and kind of talking to him. And they were asking him, what are you going to do with the ball? And he was saying, I haven't thought about it yet. This is just so exciting. And a lady, Bree Amaranthus, which is a sick name, but I don't know how to say that well. She tweeted, "This is my husband," and she works in local media supposedly. I thought I read somewhere that she was affiliated with Sports Illustrated, maybe, or ESPN or something. I'm not sure. But in Google searching, the only thing I can seem to find is that she identifies herself in her Twitter bio as an alumni of the ABC's The Bachelor. So there's that.
Is that where they met?
I don't know. I read somewhere, but I can't find it now, and it makes sense if it's true because I don't feel like I'd want that out there. He's worth apparently $162 million or something. He's like the chief whatever officer of I can't remember the name. It's a financial company in Texas, I think.
Okay.
And like every picture you Google of him and his wife here, they're like on a yacht or like at some wine festival, or like they seem like they're worth 162 million. And one of them has been on The Bachelor. That kind of adds up. I guess that makes sense. If she's not the Bachelorette, Nathan, she'd be on The Bachelor because she didn't get picked. She got sent home, and now she's with this guy. So, okay, so there's that.
There you go. Your husband now has 62.
Yeah, Judge said he didn't really care. Like he's like, yeah, like it'd be cool to get it back, but it's a fan souvenir, like whatever. Did you see though the guy who dropped into the bullpen when the
guy who jumped off? Yeah.
Okay, so because
in case it dropped.
Because when Judge hit 61 in Toronto, it went into the Blue Jays bullpen. It was just short enough where no fan could reach out and grab it, and all the fans were heartbroken. This guy came to Texas with a plan. This guy
jumped down.
He sees it's coming like too far over to his left for him to make an honest grab to go actually catch it. So he makes a bold prediction, and I love this guy. I would love to talk to this guy. He jumps over the railing. He quickly puts his feet over, and just as the ball's kind of coming down, you just see him, as the camera's zooming in on who's catching it, he just lets go and disappears behind the outfield wall into the bullpen. You're probably getting kicked out of the game, but
it's worth it.
If that ball goes into the bullpen, you might have to maybe not try to assault a major league pitcher at that point, but you could get that ball, and you would look like a fucking genius. So, shout out to that guy. He's getting recognized anyway. We're going to go through some other stuff here. I'm probably going to move through this kind of fast now because we're at, 117. First time in MLB history where Canadians got the win and the save in an MLB game was the other day for the Blue Jays. Zach Pop and Jordan Romano. That's really fun. I watched that and didn't even really realize it was happening. It's weird to me that's the first time that ever happened. I feel like there's been some great Canadian pitchers in baseball, but Adley Rutschman, another great, most doubles by an Oriole rookie, breaking Cal Ripken Jr.'s record. I think he has 33 or 34 now. It's just crazy. Dodgers are the first team to win 110 games since 2001. And this one's awesome. The St. Louis mayor officially declared October 5th and 6th Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina Day in the city of St. Louis. So that's really fun. I think I talked about that before, Nathan. I said I'd love to be an elementary school teacher in St. Louis
so just you can
for
make
those 2 days to be like baseball history.
Yeah.
Canadian Bo Naylor debuted for the Guardians. He's a catcher. He was hitting one spot behind his brother Josh. And Nathan, they are both from, I believe, it's not Etobicoke. It is Markham? Brampton. It might be Brampton. It's summer. They're local. They're from Toronto region.
Gotta love some local boys.
Oh my God, I can't believe I
Mississauga,
can't remember.
Mississauga,
that's it. I had it on the tip of my tongue. Mets called up top prospect Francisco Alvarez. He's another catcher. And I think yesterday, it was not his debut day. I think it was the day after he already hit a home run. So he's looking like the true freak he's supposed to be, given he's played like 2 games. Angels sign Ohtani, Nathan. Ready? Big news. 1 year, $30 million contract. It's the largest ever contract for an arbitration eligible player. Didn't know that. Didn't expect that. Pretty fun. It's Ohtani's final ARB year before he reaches free agency. Nathan, do you think he reaches free agency?
Where is it? What do you think?
Well, no, you got to answer first. Do you think he reaches free agency? Do you think the Angels re-sign him?
I think they re-sign him.
You think they re-sign him?
Do you think they re-sign him?
I don't think they re-sign him.
Oh, where do you think he goes?
I think it's a stretch. I think because they've done so poorly, he wanted to come to Los Angeles. He chose Anaheim, remember. That was his pick. I think that he is frustrated. I think that he's had his chance to prove that he's a star. I think he thought his best chance to win was with Mike Trout and that he would be what they needed. And now that he sees that they have Anthony Rendon and him, and they had, Syndergaard and all, and then they still are this bad, I think he jumps ship and he realizes that I am now willing to set the market for whatever I want it to be. I can ask for any number and somebody's going to give it to me. I think you go and you either join a Los Angeles or a Yankees, and I know people don't want to hear that, and it's the easy answer. I think you go and you join the Yankees. If Judge stays, I don't know how that affects things. I would love to see, and I know this sucks because I'm in division, I would love to see a Judge Ohtani Yankees.
That would be kind of nuts.
Because
that'd just be Dinger Central.
It would seriously impact the Toronto's future in the playoffs. I get that. But as a baseball fan,
just as a general baseball fan,
how does that not become the most marketable sports franchise again in the world?
Yeah.
So I think that he knows he can go get whatever he wants, and it's not about that. But also, the Yankees are gonna win. I mean, they're going to win. They won this year. They're going to keep winning. We'll see if they win it all this year. If they go win a championship, go get Ohtani and just prove, we're still the Yankees and we're going to come win championships for the next decade now. So everybody get comfortable with that. I think that he takes that chance because you got to remember, Ohtani's not a freshly called up rookie. He's not 23. Ohtani's, I think, 28 years old now, 27 years old now.
Yeah, he's not like fresh, but he's still sub 30.
And I'm willing to say, he's in his prime, and he's going to be in a prime for a long time, especially doing what he's doing. It's going to be challenging, but he's going to have every opportunity to continue doing it because he's such a freak. So I think that he's going to go get paid as much as he can and go get the best winning chance he can. Now, the only reason I don't think that it's the Dodgers is because there's already so much there. And obviously the Dodgers like to get the biggest guy, but so do the Yankees. And the Yankees around Judge really don't have that much going on. They've got more rookies kind of coming up and ready to go now. They've got more guys like Aaron Hicks and Giancarlo Stanton and all those guys coming to the ends of their big contracts, coming to the ends of their physical prime. How else do you sway Judge to come back but say, hey, I know it's not as much as you want, but we're also going to go give this to a guy down the road and bring him over to the Bronx? You know what I mean? I think that only works out that way. Maybe that's just the baseball magic in me that I want to happen. But I think that's how it goes.
I think it would be great.
I think that it would be really fun. I think that the Jays would then need to go do something crazy in free agency.
Alternatively, he comes to Toronto.
See, and that's the thing, is because I really, and it was a want, but I really thought he was coming to Toronto over the Angels. I remember talking to a few of my friends about it at the time, and we were talking about kind of what his options were and what we thought would be important to him, basically. And I thought it would have been Toronto because at the time when he came over, all of our young guys were just stepping into the major leagues. There was nobody on the major league roster who was in anybody's way of coming up and performing. I think the only thing that might have stopped Ohtani looking back is the fact that he thought the Angels were more win now capable than the Blue Jays were. And obviously looking back, it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
But I think had Vladdy, Bo, Cavan,
George
Kirk,
Springer.
all these guys had not even George Springer, had all these rookies that they already had there, just been up a year, maybe a year and a half earlier,
further along. Yeah.
And they showed this and kind of what they were headed to. I think that sways his mind, and I think he honestly makes it, because his thing was being on the West Coast because it's closer to home, right?
Yeah.
But as different as Canada is, I think that going to this situation where there's more of a Korean and an Asian influence in Toronto and in Canada.
Yeah.
I think that if you go there and you have the opportunity to play with these guys and win now, I think that's what he would have done, because
look at I forgot his name. The guy we used to have. The Japanese guy we used to have.
What? The Jays, Kawasaki?
Yeah.
Munenori Kawasaki?
He was loved by Toronto. Yeah, he was loved by Toronto.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Kawasaki. Monkey eat banana because monkey no cramp. Everybody knows that if you're a Jays fan.
If Ohtani came here, he would be equally as loved, if not more.
And Toronto does have a thing with like their Asian players that they've had have been like fan favorites every time, no matter how good or bad they've been. Every Asian player, Korean, Japanese, whoever it is, I guess you could maybe limit that because of Yusei Kikuchi this year. But like even Hyunjin Ryu, having not been, now his contract looks bad. Everybody still loves Hyunjin Ryu. He's Alek Manoah's best friend on the team. I mean, it's a culture where, like you said, there's a huge Asian culture and influence in the Toronto area. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it rivals California necessarily, but it rivals most of North America.
This is our pitch right now. Ohtani, Toronto.
Oh my God, dude! If that was Toronto's big splash, okay. Whew. He does everything they need.
Come to Toronto.
He's a lefty bat. He's a great pitcher. You're solving all of your problems. I don't want to be saying that you can't afford him, because if it's Ohtani, anybody can find the money for Ohtani.
Yeah.
If you get him, you just spit in the rest of the American League's face. You just spit in it because you go, what do you do now? What do you do? You know what I mean? And if Judge leaves the Yankees, the AL East is now officially the Blue Jays until they want to lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be insane. I would love it. Tony La Russa, moving on to retire. It's for health purposes, and that sucks, but Tony La Russa, well, being one of the more colorful baseball minds of all time, has been one of the more winningest managers of all time, and it's going to be sad to have him gone, but I think White Sox fans are going to be okay finding somebody else. Pujols also hit 703, and now he's second in all-time RBI. The Nationals clinched the worst record in baseball this year. Congratulations. Kurt Suzuki played in his final game of his 16-year career. He got the start. They were playing against the Athletics. Tony Kemp was up to bat. Everybody just sat back, let him catch the first pitch strike. He was pulled from the game, giving a standing ovation. And that was a really cool moment to see. And then something else that we don't get to talk about often, but Nathan, I think you'll like this baseball reference page because it's a Japanese record.
I love Japanese baseball.
Munetaka Murakami, who we've talked about already in the podcast, hits his 56th home run, and it breaks Sadaharu Oh's record set in 1964. Now, if you don't know who first of all, congratulations to Munetaka Murakami, who looks like an absolute beast and a freak, and I can't wait to see what he does in Pro Ball and in the MLB, because he's definitely coming. Sadaharu Oh is one of the most famous Japanese players of all time, and really one of the most famous baseball players of all time. He has the all-time career home run record. He hit 868 home runs during his professional career, which is by far and away the most. In 1977, he was the first recipient of the People's Honor Award. He was inducted into the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame in 94. He was a 15-time home run champion, named to an All-Star team 18 times, and with Sadaharu Oh at first base, the Yomiuri Giants, who are the absolute powerhouse of the MPB, won 11 Japan Series championships, which is their equivalent of the World Series. He was the MVP of the Central League 9 times. Just by far and away the most dominant player to really ever play the game of baseball, no matter what league or what time, and I don't care how you measure it. Nathan, what do you think of this baseball reference page? Because you've got to be finding this a fun time.
It is. It's that's nuts. It's like,
well, it's crazy to think his rookie year was 1959 when he was 19 years old, and he was signed as a pitcher originally, and they converted him early to a hitter. And by his third year, he was just the best in the world. He played from 19 to 40 for the same team.
What blows my mind is he hit 50 home runs at 37 years old.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like he hit 55 and 64, and he didn't hit below 40. He didn't hit below 39 until
he was 35.
1975 when he was 35 years old.
And then he hit 49 the next season.
And then he hit 49, 50, 39, 33, and 30 at the age of 40 just because.
What a monster.
The age difference in 1980 is 10.8. He was, on average, 10.8 years older than everybody else in the league. I mean, I don't know what more you could ever ask of somebody. This is made up. You can't be this good, but he was this good. He played his entire professional career with the Giants. He was their manager from 84 to 88. And he also managed, oh God, this is going to be hard, Nathan, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, they're also known as, from 1995 to 2008. This is awesome. He was the manager of the Japanese national team in the inaugural World Baseball Classic, which must have been a huge deal. And the Japanese team defeated the Cuban national team for the championship. So that's pretty sweet. And now he's currently chairman of the Fukuoka Hawks. So this guy, Sadaharu Oh, if you haven't heard of him, there's your rundown. This is like, you got to know about this guy. You have to. So talking about a lot of baseball greats today, a lot of records. It's good stuff. It's the end of the season. Playoff series start on Friday, Nathan. So I said,
means
next pod, we will know whether or not the Jays are in the next round of the playoffs. So I might not be okay. I may be phenomenal. We're going to find out. But
it's going to be one or the other.
I'm debating probably either if I want to come on to class on Friday or if I want to stay home. If I do come to class, we can watch the Jays game in class.
All right, sounds good.
If you're going. If you're not going, I'll probably stay home and watch the Jays game. So
we will see.
We'll discuss that. But
we'll discuss that, yeah.
There's your fill. That is a big fill. That is an hour and a half fill, Nathan.
This is normally their bite-sized eps that are the special ones. This is a long ep.
This is a very long ep, and I don't regret a goddamn thing because everything today needed to be talked about. And I enjoyed talking about it, Nathan. Did you?
Plus, it was a delayed ep, so we had to give them a little bit.
It was a delayed ep. I got about 8 or 10 bonus notes out of it because of that. But you know what that means, Nathan? Next week's probably a short week.
Might be a bite-sized ep, yeah.
Might be a this day in sports history. Might be a fun episode idea of some kind. We'll have to talk, but. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you again very soon now, I suppose.
Yeah.
And thank you again for listening to the Totally Offside podcast.